Something is happening across the globe, and it's getting harder to ignore. Wildfires are spreading, storms are intensifying, and extreme weather is disrupting millions of lives. But what happens next could be even more dangerous, because in some regions, the worst may not be over yet. Today, August 4th, 2026, the planet is on fire. From the devastating urban firestorm destroying American suburbs, to the massive, uncontainable blazes devouring Canadian forests, and the lethal, wind-driven infernos trapping citizens in Greece and France, this is not a drill. This is a global emergency that has pushed fire departments to their absolute breaking point. You need to stay with me until the very end of this report, because we are going to expose what the governments are desperately trying to keep quiet. The real casualty numbers, the hidden emergency plans they are activating behind closed doors, and a second wave of disaster that is already forming while everyone is distracted. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this is happening, who is responsible, and what nobody is telling you about the next 72 hours. Do not click away. This story is bigger than you think. Let's start with the most destructive situation unfolding right now: Washington State. What we are witnessing in Spokane is officially classified as an urban firestorm, and this is a terrifying phenomenon where a high-intensity fire moves into a built environment, turning structures into the primary fuel source. Sparked by a passing dry cold front, 3 massive blazes, the Old Trails Fire, the Fairview Fire, and the Autumn Lane Fire, exploded simultaneously. We are talking about wind gusts hitting 44 miles per hour, accompanied by 86-degree heat and dangerously low humidity at 20%. The ember showers are the real killer here. Burning debris is being hurled over half a mile ahead of the fire front, igniting roofs and gutters instantly. As of today, this firestorm has completely leveled over 700 structures and forced nearly 65,000 families to evacuate. The devastation is so absolute that officials say the community is entirely under threat, with fires jumping rivers and city streets. Shockingly, the containment remains at 0%. Moving north, the situation in Canada is equally terrifying. The 2026 wildfire season in British Columbia is shattering historical records. The massive Big Bar complex has already scorched over 160,000 hectares. Just in the last 24 hours, nearly 30 new fires. Just in the last 24 hours, nearly 30 new fires have ignited. A particularly dangerous blaze near Okanagan Lake, driven by 100-kilometer-per-hour winds, doubled in size almost instantly. This led to emergency evacuations for thousands of people who had only hours to gather their belongings before the flames swept through their waterfront neighborhoods. And then, there's the crisis unfolding across the Mediterranean. Greece is entering its second week of relentless wind-driven fires. The region is battered by the meltemi, ferocious, dry, seasonal winds that are clocking up to 100 kilometers per hour. These winds have created a wall of fire northwest of Athens, in the areas of Satha and Porto Germano, burning over 12,000 hectares. The fire isn't just destroying forests, it is devouring ancient olive groves and threatening residential communities, forcing mass evacuations by both land and sea. The tragedy reached a heartbreaking peak when 2 firefighting helicopters collided in midair while battling the extreme turbulence, resulting in the deaths of 2 brave pilots. Finally, we must look at France, where a megafire has just been fought to a standstill. For 9 agonizing days, a colossal blaze in the Gironde region devoured 42,000 hectares of the famous pine forests near Bordeaux, forcing an unprecedented evacuation of nearly 200,000 people, littered with what locals call zombie fires, smoldering underground peat and roots that threaten to flare up at any moment. Meanwhile, a new, incredibly fast-moving fire has erupted in the southeastern Var region, scorching nearly 1,000 hectares in a matter of hours and forcing even more residents, including the famous actor George Clooney, to evacuate their vacation homes. So, how are the governments responding to this unprecedented chaos? In the United States, the response has been a race against time. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson declared a statewide emergency and issued an immediate burn ban. He has directly requested a fire management. FEMA has already stepped in, approving grants that will reimburse up to 75% of the state's firefighting expenses. Additionally, Washington's congressional delegation has formally asked the president to expedite a major disaster declaration to help survivors recover. the National Guard has been activated, and thousands of firefighters from across the country are pouring into the Pacific Northwest to battle the smoke and flames. In Canada, the provincial government of British Columbia has declared a state of emergency, moving their fire alert level to the highest possible status. However, this crisis has sparked a major political debate. Critics are pointing out that Canada is the only G7 country lacking a dedicated national emergency agency mandated to respond to wildfires. In response, Canada has deployed its first-ever national aerial wildfire surge fleet of 10 specialized aircraft to the front lines. They are also coordinating international aid, welcoming over 100 firefighters and agency representatives from Mexico to assist in British Columbia and Ontario. Despite these efforts, the sheer scale of the fires is overwhelming local resources, leaving communities like Vernon in a state of panic. In Europe, the response is a mix of national struggle and international solidarity. In France, President Emmanuel Macron and the Interior Minister have deployed the military, including bulldozers and drones to detect underground fires. The government is currently fighting a war of attrition against the smoldering embers in Gironde. In Greece, Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has described the conditions as extremely difficult, acknowledging that the wind speeds made aerial firefighting nearly impossible for days. While Greece hasn't officially triggered the EU civil protection mechanism yet, Brussels has made it clear they are ready to deploy assets. In fact, the European Union has already sent 11 planes and a helicopter to assist in other parts of the country, alongside over 400 foreign firefighters. Greece's civil protection minister admitted that the fire department has been pushed to its absolute limits. Because the danger is far from over, I need you to listen very carefully to this advice. If you are in or near these affected regions, your actions today will determine your survival tomorrow. First, monitor your air quality. The smoke is a silent killer. If you are in the Pacific Northwest or near the French fires, limit outdoor activities immediately. If you must go out, wear an N95 mask, not a standard cloth mask. Do not rely on opening windows to cool down if the smoke is thick. Use fans with wet towels in the window frames, or seek a public cooling center with air. Second, prepare your go bag. Do not wait for an evacuation order. Pack essential documents, medications, pet food, hard drives, and cash. Third, protect your property. If you are under a fire warning, clear your gutters of dry pine needles immediately. Move propane tanks and combustible patio furniture at least 30 feet away from your house. Close all your windows and doors to prevent ember entry. The events of the last 48 hours in Washington, Canada, Greece, and France are a stark reminder of the destructive power of our changing climate. Thousands of families are currently sleeping in evacuation centers, uncertain if their homes still. Please check on your neighbors today. Make sure the elderly and vulnerable in your community have a plan. If you are safe, consider donating to the Red Cross or your local disaster relief agencies, as they are the first responders keeping these communities alive. Situation evolves. If this report was helpful, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it immediately with your family and friends. You might just help someone avoid a life-threatening mistake. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and stay safe. We'll see you in the next update.